I remember you had some entrepreneurial talent. If you run into any difficulties, just tell Julian or me. There's nothing you can't overcome." Her apparent sincerity earned her a venomous glare from Julian, who deliberately tightened his grip on Serafina's waist and pulled her into his arms. "Sarah, darling, it's not worth getting upset over someone like this," Julian continued, addressing me. "How about this? $10,000 for every glass of liquor you drink. Drink as much as you want, and add that to the previous $100,000. It should be enough for you to find a wife." His words were met with cheers from the others. Wow, Mr. Vance is really looking out for his old classmate. Calling him a lifesaver wouldn't be an exaggeration. 10 grand a glass. That's practically free money. Sincere, what are you hesitating for? Go on, thank Mr. Vance. I looked at the specially mixed 90-proof alcohol in the decanter on the table. 1 glass would burn your throat and stomach. 2 might make you spontaneously combust. You'd get sick even if you weren't already. I had absolutely no desire to stay any longer. You should keep the money for yourself. As I stood up, Julian pushed me back down. The money's ready. Don't miss this opportunity. Serafina also urged me, frustrated. You refused free money, and now you refuse to drink for money. What exactly do you want? Sincere, if I didn't feel like I owed you something for what happened back then, I wouldn't care if you lived or died. I didn't understand why Serafina was still dwelling on the past life. Everything was long over. She picked up a glass and handed it to me. Go on, drink. I know you have a strong sense of pride. Drink it all, and I'll give you all the money. Okay, finish it. Take the money and start living properly. Stop idling around. I couldn't help but look at Serafina, unsure for a moment whether she genuinely wanted to see me humiliated or actually cared about my well-being. Beside her, Julian was grinding his back teeth in hatred. He sneered. It's rare for Sarah to care so much about someone else. Anyone who can make Sincere drink a glass gets $10,000 too. The room erupted in excitement. That's our Mr. Vance. So generous. They picked up their glasses, eyes fixed on me like predators as they advanced. Sincere, if you don't drink this, you're disrespecting your old classmates. Come on, drink up. Finish this glass, and I'll get you a job as a security guard at my company. Are you drinking or not? Stop dithering like an old woman. No wonder you ended up like this. They crowded around, cursing when I refused to drink. Some shoved their glasses against my lips, trying to force the liquor down my throat. My patience finally snapped. I forcefully pushed everyone away, and the liquor in their hands splashed onto the floor. Forcing someone to drink is illegal. Don't make me call the police. Keep this up and get out of my hotel. Julian burst out laughing, as if he'd heard the world's funniest joke. Are you crazy? It's more believable if you said you were a waiter here. It's just old classmates having a bit of fun. Why call the cops? I'll take responsibility if anything happens. Emboldened by his words, the others grew more agitated. They started grabbing bottles from the liquor cabinet, wildly pouring drinks and creating a mess. Unable to tolerate it anymore, I punched Julian squarely in the face. He clutched his injured face, eyes wide. You actually dared to hit me? I glanced at the information my secretary had just sent to my phone, then punched him again. Yeah, I hit you. What are you going to do about it? Everyone froze, stunned. The man who had been quiet moments ago had just landed 2 solid punches on Julian Vance. Serafina was the first to scream. Sincere, are you out of your mind? She cupped Julian's face with both hands, full of distress. I thought you just lacked ambition, but I didn't realize you had violent tendencies too. Do you want to ruin your life completely? Get down on your knees and apologize to Julian right now, or I'll have you thrown in jail. The others chimed in indignantly. Sincere, I didn't know you were not only poor, but also violent. We were just joking around between classmates. Why take it so seriously? Even at this point, Serafina is willing to let you grovel and apologize. She's practically a living saint. Nobody should associate with him anymore. People like him are doomed for life. Serafina stared at me coldly, her face etched with disappointment. I couldn't help but wonder. If she knew what Julian was really back in the country for, would her expression be even more spectacular? Just as the crowd was condemning me, there was a commotion outside. Julian seemed to remember something. He straightened his wrinkled collar, wincing as he touched his bruised face, and shot me a venomous look. Sincere Clark, I'm not finished with you. The person arriving outside is the daughter of River City's richest man. Any spare change that slips through her fingers would be enough for you to live on for the rest of your life. Besides, her daughter just won the World Sports Championship. My son is her boyfriend, her future son-in-law. You're finished. My daughter has a boyfriend? How come her father, didn't know? I froze slightly. My daughter had only recently mentioned a male classmate who kept bothering her. Julian smugly opened the suite door. Standing there was a group of bodyguards in black suits, tightly protecting a woman with an elegant appearance and exceptional charisma. Walking toward them, following beside her, was clearly a miniature version of her, instantly warming one's heart. Everyone became excited. This kind of entourage, only the richest man could afford something like this. Sincere, you should count your lucky stars. If it weren't for Mr. Vance and Serafina, you probably would never meet such important people in your entire life. It's a pity the richest man's son-in-law isn't here. I hear he dotes on his wife and is incredibly talented. I'd love to meet him. You've offended the richest man's in-laws. Unless you get on your knees and beg for forgiveness properly, your life is over. I ignored the crowd, simply watching my wife and daughter with a smile. As they reached the suite entrance, everyone swarmed around them, fawning obsequiously. Julian bowed obsequiously. Ms. Windsor, hello. I'm Julian Vance. We met briefly at the World Qualifiers. Do you remember my wife? Victoria Windsor smiled and nodded at him. Long time no see. A simple reply, yet Julian was practically jumping with joy. Serafina also bent down to greet my daughter. Jasmine Clark. Jasmine dear, I'm Leo's mother. Come play with Leo sometime. Auntie will make you delicious food. Hearing Leo Vance's name, my daughter frowned with distaste, but her good upbringing prevented her from being rude. She silently brushed past Serafina and raised her arms, calling out to me, Daddy. In front of everyone, I crouched down and hugged my daughter. Did you miss Daddy? My daughter nodded vigorously. So much. I skipped the celebration banquet and came straight back. Look, Daddy, this is the gold medal I won. She took the gold medal from around her neck to show me, gleaming brightly. Anyone would know the immense honor it represented. Mommy, Daddy, isn't your wedding anniversary coming up? Can I give you this gold medal as your anniversary gift? Victoria walked over, smiling gently, and took my arm. Of course, sweetie. Daddy and Mommy love this gift very much. Witnessing this warm, happy scene, everyone's jaws dropped. Julian stammered. Miss Windsor, is Sincere Clark your husband? Victoria tilted her head and kissed my cheek. Yes, we've been married for 8 years. Please don't blame Sincere. Everyone, my status is rather special. As an apology, today's meal is on us. Julian had completely lost his earlier arrogance, managing only forced obsequious smiles. How could we possibly let Miss Windsor pay? We're just having a class reunion. Would you care to join us? As he spoke, he turned and ordered the nearby waiter to clear the room and serve fresh dishes. My daughter leaned close to my clothes, sniffing carefully, then frowned. After being reborn, Serafina and I went our separate ways, and I started my own business. Within 2 years, my company became a leader in its industry, but this involved numerous drinking events, which eventually led to stomach problems. At a bidding conference, my clever proposal and clear thinking caught the attention of Arthur Windsor, elder of the Windsor family. After collaborating for some time, the old man insisted I become his son-in-law. On our first date, I intended to let things flow naturally, but unexpectedly, Victoria took an immediate liking to me, and I had a good impression of her too. We fell in love quickly. Initially, I worried she might be a spoiled princess, but she turned out to be incredibly independent, practically the ideal wife and mother. She taught me what a healthy, happy marriage truly is. Victoria was incredibly sharp-witted. Seeing my alcohol-splattered clothes, her brow furrowed slightly in anger, but she still asked softly, Hubby, who did this to you? You promised me you wouldn't drink. You wouldn't break your promise. Before I could answer, Julian was already sweating profusely, fear written all over his face. He forced himself to appear calm. Ms. Windsor, it's a misunderstanding. All a misunderstanding. Old classmates were just too happy to see each other. Things got a little out of hand. Victoria clearly didn't believe him. Seeing I was reluctant to speak, she instructed the bodyguards beside her, Retrieve the surveillance footage for this suite. I want to see who dared to bully my man. No need. Honey, the manager already sent the footage over. Simultaneously, I handed her the hotel acquisition contract. I wanted to surprise you. This hotel serves your favorite grilled lamb. I bought it for you. Victoria gasped, covering her mouth, then hugged me, moved. Thank you, hubby. I love it so much. Didn't the owner refuse to sell at any price? How did you manage it? I smiled. I gave up a piece of land on the south side. They were more than happy with the deal. A classmate gasped. Isn't land in the south side worth its weight in gold? Trading it for a hotel is clearly a losing deal. And I heard most of it is owned by someone named Mr. Clark. How could he have it? Wait, Mr. Clark. Sincere Clark. Could that mysterious figure be him? Julian swallowed nervously again and again, his lips trembling so much he forgot how to speak. Serafina stared at me in utter disbelief. Being a freeloader was already punching above your weight. How could you possibly be this rich? Actually, River City's richest person had changed the previous year. When Serafina abandoned me at the registry office door, I barely had time for heartbreak. Instead, I silently used all my savings to continuously buy up land in the south side. Last year, the south side was a poor slum. Now, thanks to the rich mineral deposits discovered beneath it, it had become the hottest property in all of River City. I declined all media interviews, so virtually no one knew I was that mysterious figure. After watching the surveillance video, Victoria's face lost all trace of a smile. Mr. Vance, since you look down on my husband so much, it seems our cooperation is no longer necessary. Not just mine, but all of the Windsor family businesses will terminate their partnerships with you. Julian's face turned deathly pale. He tried to argue. Miss Windsor, I just wasn't thinking straight for a moment. I honestly didn't know he was your husband. And look at my face. He assaulted me. I apologized to Sincere. How about we just let this matter drop? As Julian spoke, he started pouring liquor and gulping it down. He downed 3 glasses, and no one told him to stop. The 90-proof alcohol quickly made him vomit violently before he passed out. The other classmates were terrified, crowding around him to rush him to the hospital. Serafina looked at me with hatred. Sincere Clark, are you satisfied now? So what if we try to make you drink a little alcohol? What's the big deal? Who were you trying to impress back then, pretending money meant nothing to you? Aren't you just throwing your weight around now because you're rich? And I thought I owed you something. Turns out you just found yourself a sugar mama right away. Seeing me offer you money and a date today, you must have felt incredibly smug, didn't you? In our last life, did you secretly despise me? Did you deliberately refuse to get ahead just to force me to leave you and be the bad guy? Sincere Clark, you despicable creep. Serafina's outburst nearly shattered my worldview. She was the one who cheated. She was the one who wanted to climb the social ladder. Just because my life didn't turn out as miserably as she'd imagined, she started shifting all the blame onto me. But I wasn't wrong. Serafina's failure lay in gazing at the stars while forgetting to keep her feet on the ground. We were both reborn. The chances heaven gave us were equal. Both of us were living better lives than in our previous existence. Yet she remained unsatisfied, her ambition exceeding her grasp. I wanted to say something, but seeing the hatred in Serafina's eyes as she looked at me, I swallowed my words again. I spoke calmly. Think whatever you want. Out of respect for our past, let me give you one more piece of advice. Be careful of Julian Vance. With that, I had done all I could. I left the hotel with my wife and daughter, ignoring the hysterical screaming from Serafina behind me. Today was my wedding anniversary with Victoria. Our daughter had already been sent home with the butler, leaving just the 2 of us. I passed the cut steak to Victoria. As I tried to retract my hand, she caught it. She produced an exquisite box containing a very expensive watch. I was hoping my anniversary gift would outdo yours this time, but it seems I failed again. This watch is nowhere near as valuable as the South Side land you traded. I gently squeezed her hand in mine. As long as it makes you happy, any price is worth it. The value of the gift isn't important. It's the thought that counts. Victoria blushed slightly, but couldn't resist asking about the events of the day. I didn't plan to hide anything. Previously, I thought the idea of rebirth was too fantastical, afraid it might scare her, but now felt like the right time. I told her everything about my previous life. Victoria showed no shock or strangeness. Her eyes simply filled with heartache as she looked at me. In that past life, I wasn't there to remind you to drink less. The stomach bleeding must have hurt terribly. My heart felt as if gently brushed by a feather, turning soft and warm. So this is love, constantly feeling indebted, constantly feeling concern. I tucked a loose strand of hair behind my wife's ear and leaned down to kiss her lips. Who says you lost the gift competition this anniversary? You're about to give me the best gift of all. Your father wants a second grandchild, so as the younger generation, we should obey, right? My wife playfully tapped my shoulder, then tilted her face up to meet my kiss again. My phone buzzed with a message from my daughter. Daddy, I'm sorry. I lost a dare last time and changed the contact for the 10,086 customer service number in your phone to Wifey. Grandpa says I'm a world champion, so you can't kill me. I turned off the screen and sighed helplessly at my wife. Looks like the main account is a bit bugged. Guess we can train up a sub-account too. Just days after the reunion, a post titled River City's Richest Family Bullies Man and Woman suddenly appeared online. The video was short, only showing the part where I punched Julian twice in quick succession. My expression was fierce, and I'd used all my strength. 2 punches left Julian's face covered in blood. Not only that, but the video was edited to portray Victoria as an aggressive, domineering spoiled brat and my daughter as a spoiled show-off. Instantly, my entire family became public enemy number 1. Being rich doesn't give you the right to beat someone to death. Is there no law anymore? Demand a thorough investigation. This is so realistic. Business monopolies. Offend the rich, and you're dead. Isn't that little girl the one who just won the world championship? I even told my kids to learn from her. Even emperors are subject to the law like commoners. We demand accountability from the authorities. Stop covering up for them. I didn't let the rumors spread further. I quickly uploaded the complete, unedited video from that day. Furthermore, I screenshot some other things. Victoria and I share passwords for our accounts. Half a month ago, I logged into her account to handle something and noticed an IP address frequently sending her suggestive messages. The sender even mentioned being divorced and suggested raising their daughter and son together. When my wife blocked the account, he just used another one. Around the same time, my daughter also mentioned being harassed by a male classmate during training. I stopped handling it passively, traced his IP address, and had my secretary investigate. The culprit turned out to be Julian Vance. He and his son were clearly trying to steal my wife and daughter. With solid evidence, I posted my clarification and quickly reported it to the police. But Julian had already fled the country, and Serafina knew nothing about it. I don't know, she said. He said he had to take our son back to the company for an emergency meeting and asked me to stay behind. The police officer looked grim. Stay behind for what? Don't you know Julian's company has gone bankrupt? He's absconded with all the money, and countless investors domestically and internationally are looking for him. Serafina's eyes were bloodshot with disbelief. Impossible. Julian would never leave me. He's so rich. How could he possibly go bankrupt? It must be Sincere Clark. Sincere Clark ruined us. This is unfair competition. Serafina still refused to believe it. In her eyes, Julian couldn't possibly be bankrupt, and she couldn't possibly be abandoned. Her confidence stemmed from her rebirth. She had lived 20-odd years more than others. But reality was cold. All of Julian's assets in the country were seized, and upon liquidation, it turned out not a single asset was registered under Serafina's name. Watching her completely break down at the police station, I felt only a faint pang of melancholy, not pity for her, just a sigh at the turn of events. Serafina called me repeatedly, demanding to meet. I refused. It was over. I now had a beautiful wife and a lovely daughter. There was no need for further entanglement with her. I worked late into the night. As I went downstairs, ready to head home, I saw Serafina squatting on the ground. Hearing the movement, she immediately ran up to me. Sincere, why are you working so late? Remember to rest no matter how busy you are. I watched Serafina warily, keeping my distance. What are you doing here? Serafina's eyes lit up, and she moved closer. Picking you up from work, of course. Didn't you always envy other guys whose girlfriends could pick them up? Well, now I'm here. I frowned, stopping her persistent advance. Serafina, stop this madness. I have a wife and child now. There's no possibility between us anymore. Hearing this, Serafina became completely agitated. Didn't you say you wouldn't marry anyone but me? Who are those two women? Sincere Clark, you heartbreaker. I found it laughable. In front of everyone, you took Julian Vance's hand and walked into the registry office. You got married. Am I not allowed to marry someone else? Don't forget, you were the one who cheated. Slap. The moment the words left my mouth, Serafina slapped me hard across the face. I cheated because you weren't ambitious enough. You were so much better than Julian in university. How could you decline so much after graduation? Or were you just playing me all along? Did you enjoy watching me struggle through hardship with you, Sincere Clark? Everything that's happened to me now is all your fault. In just a few sentences, she shifted all the blame onto me. In my past life, I was already starting my business. I firmly believe that given a few more years, I would have been just as successful as I am now, if not more so. But she wasn't willing to give me the chance, and now, I wouldn't give her one either. I forced myself to calm down. It wasn't worth becoming hideous over someone like her. Think whatever you want at this point, but there is absolutely zero possibility between us. Don't come here again. I don't want my wife to misunderstand. I took a few steps forward, but Serafina stubbornly grabbed my sleeve. Sincere, don't go. Fine, I forgive you for being heartless, all right? I know Victoria Windsor is just your second choice. I'm the one you truly love. Divorce her. If you can't bear to part with your daughter, I can begrudgingly treat her as my own. My temples throbbed. I pulled her hand away, ready to drive off, when I saw Victoria standing not far away. Serafina was overjoyed. Taking advantage of my stunned pause, she clung tightly to my waist and provoked Victoria. Sincere still loves me the most. I quickly explained, the person I love most is you. Victoria chuckled amusedly as she walked closer. I saw she was holding an umbrella. The forecast said rain tonight. Even though you have a driver, I still wanted to come get you. I used force, and Serafina stumbled and fell to the ground. She cried out in pain, looking at me incredulously. You actually pushed me for her? Crazy woman. I muttered softly, pulling my wife behind me, unwilling to engage with her further. Watching my resolute back, Serafina seemed to finally understand that there truly was no chance for us anymore. Tears streamed down her face. The sky rumbled, and a light rain began to fall. Victoria and I walked forward under the umbrella. Serafina stood in the rain, letting it soak her completely. Suddenly, she screamed, Sincere Clark, if you take one more step forward, I'll die right here. My footsteps paused. Behind me, Serafina had produced a gleaming fruit knife and held it to her neck. Choose me or her. Choose me. You divorce her and marry me. Choose her and I die. As if to prove her words, a trickle of blood appeared on her neck. She was stubbornly threatening me with her life. Under her burning gaze, I tightened my arm around my wife's waist in my embrace and strode firmly into the rain. Victoria looked at me, shocked. You? Behind us erupted sharp cries and curses. Sincere Clark, you bastard. Serafina didn't kill herself. She collapsed in the rain, sobbing heartbrokenly. I knew her too well. She was an exquisite egoist, and no one mattered more to her than herself. After that night, Serafina seemed to vanish from the face of the earth. No one knew where she went. I wasn't surprised. I focused on living my own life well. It wasn't until 3 years later that news arrived. She had personally killed Julian Vance abroad, then surfaced again in my thoughts. Julian had been dismembered, his body parts flushed down the drain. After turning herself in, she committed suicide on her first day in prison. At that time, I was vacationing by the sea with my wife and 2 children. An old friend sent a message. Her parents brought her body back. Want to go pay your respects? I declined. From the moment we were reborn, we had each started new lives. End of.